So this will be, I think, video 5 of this Ghislaine Maxwell, uh, what do you call it? A deposition? Yeah, I think it's a deposition. I'm trying to think. This is a deposition for the lawsuit between, it was a civil suit between Virginia Giuffre versus Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell. Um, she sorry, Giuffre sued Maxwell for defamation. I guess basically saying what a liar she was and all this other stuff. So anyway, let's go and get started on this. But I do believe it is video 5, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll make sure I put the right thing in there. I'll have to go back and look at my notes. Okay. But we're going to start right here on page 141. It says, I'm not representing the date, but there it is. So the last leg of that, where it says same as above, has the second to the last, I'm sorry, on the redacted. Do you remember being in Thailand with redacted? I do. Do you remember what the purpose of that trip was? I don't. Do you recall? Did you stay the night in Thailand? I don't recall. Do you recall why you went to Thailand? I don't recall. Who is redacted? She, I believe, was a stewardess on this flight. Did she perform any massages on the flights? I don't recollect any massages on the flight. Do you know who redacted is? It doesn't. No, I don't know who that is. I can't recall. This is not in color. It's a black and white, but it has the Bates label on it. Should I take the sticker off? The one that has, I don't know if you want to swap it. Mr. Pagliuca, let the record reflect. I'm replacing this on the black and white copy of this exhibit with redacted. So we're talking earlier. We were looking at the flight logs and we were talking about a trip. And let me just get you back to the page. Redacted, all that's redacted. Okay. Can I direct you, or excuse me, can I direct your attention to the picture, please? Of course. Can you tell me who is in this picture, who's pictured here? And for the court reporter's benefit, can you go from the left of the picture to the right of the picture to the extent you can identify the individuals? Sure. I cannot identify the person on the left. I cannot identify the person next left. I can identify Jeffrey Epstein. I cannot identify the next person to his right and the next person in the picture is myself. Is this individual, is the individual all the way to the left at the beginning of the picture? Does that resemble redacted? You might want to look at the color version if that helps you at all. I know it's not the marked one. I don't, I don't, if that's easier to see, they are both dark. That does not look like redacted at all. Do you recall, Mr. Pagliuca? Let's mark this then as depositions of A, since we're referring to it, and you can give us copies as well. Miss Manager, it's different because it has other people in this color photo. Maxwell Exhibit A, photo marked for identification. Do you recall who took this photograph? I do not. Do you recall this photograph being taken by Virginia? First of all, I don't know where we are. So you don't recognize the building? I don't recognize the building, and I don't recognize the only two people I recognize in the picture are Jeffrey and myself. Does this look like a picture of a building that you have seen when you were on a trip in Europe? Mr. Pagliuca, excuse me, objection to the form of foundation. I can't possibly answer that. Do you recall Virginia ever taking pictures? I barely recall Virginia, period. Do you recall her ever taking pictures? No, I don't. I'm going to direct your attention still within the flight logs to starting on the next page from where you just were, which is going to be redacted. And the date at the top says redacted, and you will see redacted. And I'm directing your attention down towards the middle to the bottom where you will see the numbers. And we've got actually, I'm going to direct your attention to the one that starts with redacted. And in the line, the remarks line, we'll see JEJ or GM, and then all this redacted. And Mr. Pagliuca, are you reading the 29th? Is that what you're reading? Miss McCauley, I'm reading the 29th, yes. Below that, you will see JE GM and redacted. Do you see that? I do. Do you recall a trip from Teterboro to Santa Fe and Santa Fe back to Palm Beach with these individuals? I don't. Do you recall being on a plane with redacted and Virginia Roberts? I don't. Do you recall ever witnessing any sexual interaction on one of Jeffrey's planes with any of these individuals? I do not. Absolutely not. Did Jeffrey have a fold out bed on one of his planes? There was a bed on one of his planes that folded out, yes. Do you recall whether, with respect to this being in Santa Fe, do you recall whether you were there for some form of a party, Mr. Pagliuca? Objection to the form of foundation. I don't recall the trip at all, and this looks like a total work trip, not a party trip. What would be the difference between a work trip and a party trip? Just that I would be on the trips for work, and I believe that this looks like redacted, looks like it's probably one of the designers, and the time would meet with the trip to decorate the house, just the timing of it. So would Virginia be brought on trips that were for the purpose of work and decorating the house? Like I said, I never worked with her, but you would have to ask Jeff what he brought her on the trip for. But she would travel with him when there was a work trip like that. I'm seeing that she is on the flight, but I have no idea what she's doing. He invited her. It would not be my job. What about Nadia Bjorlin? I guess that's how you say it. Who, or excuse me, would she regularly travel with Jeffrey on flights? I have no idea. You would have to look through the flight logs. I have no idea. Your recollection is, what is your recollection? Do you recollect Nadia traveling often on flights with Jeffrey? Absolutely not. No, not at all. I don't recollect her actually on the flight at all. I think you can set that aside for a moment. And the Maxwell Exhibit 9 message pad pages marked for identification. We will mark as Exhibit 9 these excerpts. We will identify what they are, but from the message pads. Do you want to correct anything? I want to make an addendum. Would you mind rereading the last question back to me? Record read. Okay, I also just want to say that at this point, I recollect uh, flying to parties. Jeffrey went for work, so was this in Santa Fe, this flight as well? The flight we were looking at, yes, but it was to Santa Fe. I don't recall going to any parties in Santa Fe at any time, but certainly flying to Santa Fe for a party seems highly improbable. So I'm going to direct your attention to the document that I set before you, which is Bates number redacted, and it has different Bates numbers because it's a small version or smaller version of the larger production. These are the pages I will be asking about. In the time that you are working with Jeffrey in Palm Beach, do you recall a process for taking anybody at the house, taking messages when incoming calls came in? You're supposed to take a message and receive the message and write the message down. Who was the message for, what time it was taken, and who took it, and what the messages was, obviously. Does what's in front of you look familiar with respect to the message pads that you would have used at the house? It is familiar. I'm going to direct your attention to the second page of it. Mr. Pagliuca, these all have SAO numbers on them or Bates ranges, and I don't see any of your Bates ranges on these. I know you have produced message pads, but those have your Bates range numbers on them, and I'm wondering, excuse me, if these are different documents. Miss McCauley, it's the same, just ours have the Bates underneath them. These were produced as part of the Rule 26 discovery. We can get the additional Bates if you want. The one I'm asking about first is the redacted. You can look at that, and then I will identify the Bates number referenced in this case. I want to direct your attention to the top right-hand corner just so I have an understanding of how these messages were taken. So I see that it says at the top, it says in the for line, it says Miss Maxwell and the date of redacted. And then I see under the M line, it looks like redacted or something like that, a phone number and a message saying returning your call. And on the bottom, it looks like redacted. Explain to me, does this represent redacted taking down a message for you from redacted? Is that how these work? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Go ahead. I don't know why he keeps objecting, doesn't change anything. I don't know how that works in a deposition. So it's just like weird that he keeps just interjecting objections and nothing happens. She still answers the questions. So, anyways, my question is I'm trying to understand how the messages were taken. Looking at the message pad where it says signed redacted, can you tell me who redacted was? I cannot. You do not know. Typically, when the messages were taken in your practice, when you were there, would the individual who took the message write their name on the message? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I don't recollect. You can ask who wrote it so you can find out who it was. Do you know who redacted is? I don't. I'm going to direct your attention. Do we have a Bates number for that? Mr. Edwards, redacted. Giuffre, redacted for that one. I would direct your attention to the first page, which has the redacted on it. Okay. Now, at the top of that document, on the right-hand side, the message that reads for JE, date redacted, message redacted, and then it's signed GM. Is that your signature? That's not my handwriting. Would other people take a message? How did this process work? Is there someone else in the house with the initials GM? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. How can I answer that? It's not my handwriting. I'm trying to understand how this gets there. If you took a message and didn't write it down, would someone else record that message for you? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. All I can tell you, this is not my handwriting, so I have no idea what that is. Was the practice that, what was the practice when someone answered the phone with these message pads? What were they supposed to do? They were supposed to take a message and the time and date and give the message. Were they supposed to indicate who took the message? They were, but it wasn't. I don't really recall the actual process. I can see from here, it looks like you were supposed uh, but that's not my handwriting, so I can't say what that was. Do you know who redacted is? No, I don't. Do you know whether redacted was under the age of 18? I just testified. I couldn't remember who she was, so it would be difficult to know how old she was. Do you know if she was coming to the house to provide massages? I don't remember who she is at all, so no. And then I would like to direct your attention to the message right underneath that, which says JE redacted, redacted, and has a phone number. And the message says, want to know if she should bring her friend redacted tonight. What is that message referring to? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. I can't possibly know. Did individuals at the house take messages for underage girls to come over and bring friends for the purpose of providing massages? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. How would I possibly know what you're talking about? Did you record messages at the house? It's not my job. Did you did from time to time record messages? Hardly ever, but you did from time to time do it. I'm just saying I hardly ever took messages. Very, 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 very infrequently. Do you know if Redacted brought her friend Redacted over that night? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. One, I don't know what this message is. I don't know if I was in Palm Beach. I don't know who Redacted is. I don't know who Redacted is, and I don't know what this message is referring to. So on January 2nd of 2003, were you in Palm Beach? I don't know. Where would you have been other than Palm Beach at the time? I could have been anywhere. Where did you typically live? What are you asking me? So, for example, in 2003, where was your primary residence? Was it wherever Jeffrey was living and staying, or was it independent of that? What was the date again? In 2003, the end of 2003, January at the beginning. I don't know. I could have been anywhere. Jeffrey and I were leading almost separate lives by then. If you were at the house that day, did you recall seeing anybody by the name of Redacted? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I don't know if I was at the house, so I can't testify to that. Let's flip back to this next page, the one we were on before the redacted, the message towards the bottom that says for Jeffrey, message for Ghislaine, and it says, would it be helpful to have, and then redacted, come to Palm Beach today to stay here and help train new staff with Ghislaine? Who were you referring to in that message? Do you remember? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. The question is, do you recall this message? I do not recall this message. Do you recall training a female under the age of 18 at Jeffrey's home? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I never trained a female under the age of 18 at Jeffrey's home. Did you ever say it would be helpful to have a female under the age of 18 come to Palm Beach today and stay here and help train new staff with Ghislaine? I never asked anyone under the age of 18 to come, excuse me. I never asked anyone under the age of 18 come to help train new staff. I'm going to flip to the next page, which is redacted. By the way, that is not my handwriting and it's not dated, and I couldn't possibly tell you who that is. Did you hear that? You got your testimony on the record. Yes. Mr. Edwards, Giuffre, redacted. I'm going to direct your attention to the top right-hand corner for Mr. Epstein, redacted, message redacted, a phone number, and called. Do you know who redacted is? I don't. Do you know that redacted was 15 at the time she left this message? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I don't know who redacted is. And then I'm going to direct your attention to the bottom left, which is a message JE, message of redacted. And the message says, he just did a good one, 18 years. He spoke to me and said, I love Jeffrey. What? Was redacted referring to sex with an 18-year-old in that message? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. How could I know what redacted is referring to? Do you know if redacted had sex with an 18-year-old that he referenced to Jeffrey Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. How could I possibly know? Did Jeffrey Epstein or redacted ever tell you that redacted had sex with an 18-year-old? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form and foundation. I have no idea what you're talking about. Did they ever tell you that? I have no recollection of ever hearing such a ridiculous thing. I will turn to the next page, which is SAO 2841. Miss Manager, do you have the Bates number? The bottom right-hand corner, Mr. Epstein, the date, redacted. Miss Maxwell, it says redacted. It says, quote, redacted is available on Tuesday, no one for tomorrow. Is this a message you took? It's not my handwriting. I don't know who R is. So when it says Miss Maxwell in the line there, is that you calling Mr. Epstein? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. I didn't write it. I don't know when this message was taken. I don't even know what it's referring to. And I don't know what my name is doing on that message pad. I know you said you only took them a few times. Do you have a recollection of taking messages of females who would call the house to indicate whether or not they were coming over? Mr. Pagliuca, objection to the form of foundation. Give me a date range. On 7/9 of 2004. How would I know if I'm in Palm Beach? Most likely not. All right, I'm going to stop here. That's 20 pages of this basically non-answer objection throughout the transcript for this deposition. But she don't want to get sued. Well, anyway, I'm going to stop it here. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.